Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on folks. It's your man, all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's Wednesday. It's over the hump. You're battling. You got to make. You see the weekend coming up. You know you got to survive Thursday and Friday. I was like y'all. I was just so happy when I get my weekend off. But I was holding two jobs, and sometimes I had to work on the weekend too. So, folks. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I have here a lovely lady. I've been trying to get out here for a while. She just turned pro last year. And, there's that saying from the movie Green Mile, get them while they're young. I want to get before they become IFBB pro when they come, yeah, I'm a pro now. No one want to talk to me. So, we have here the lovely Mrs. Renee Covell. And she turned pro at the Teen Collegiate and Master Show last year. And that's in Pittsburgh, right? That's where that's yeah. Pittsburgh is a mecca for bodybuilding. You have the Manion family is up that way. You have shows like, also you have guys like Derek Unit. It's a growing mecca for bodybuilding for the last few years. She turned pro in women's bodybuilding, and also she's a mother, she's a wife, she's a coach, she's a businesswoman, and we're going to talk to her and get her thoughts about bodybuilding or her plans for 2024. So, ma'am, I appreciate you for coming through, and this is a question that I often ask you ladies: what got you into this sport? Is I call muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Pretty good. Hi, George.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so people ask that question all the time, especially where I'm from, very rural, small town area. Women, we don't really do weights, but I've been doing weights since I've been a little girl, so like 18. I was doing weights a long time, but never thought about it. Never. I Linda Murray, when I saw her back in the 90s, I was like, wow, what a beautiful woman. I would love to be like that. But I didn't think I could ever get that way. And not that I am or could ever get that way. But you know what I mean? I just, I never thought there would be an opportunity to pursue something like that from this area when we didn't even know what it is. But then I went to college down in the Allentown, Lehigh Valley area, which is more city-ish compared to where I live. And got married, stayed down there, and ended up having some health scares. And I think this happens to a lot of people. I had a hysterectomy that went bad. And I had a robotic hysterectomy. And to make a long story short with that, my internal stitches, they weren't stitches, they were cauterizations. It opened up and I was bleeding hard, had to run into the emergency room. So as I was sitting there, I was writing letters, goodbye letters to all my children. I have 7. So I was thinking, this is it. I mean, it was scary. Doctors rushing in. Everybody's running around me. There's blood everywhere. And I'm like, all right, what if the 3 things that personally I wish I would have done? And I think that's that rocking chair scheme that we get when we're older, but I was having it here at 41. And bodybuilding was one of those 3 things. So I just, I grew up on lard. Everything was cooked in lard. Everything. Bellinis, and a diet for us was a half a grilled cheese. And I thought cheese was actually, when I got into it, I thought cheese was a protein. I did.
Yeah. Well, I grew up like you said. My mother, well, together. My mother and father had 9 kids. My father had 2 one before he married my mother, and one after when they were apart. And plus, they supposed to have 7 together, but I had a brother that passed away. It's only 4 of us left now. And like I said, coming from a big family, and yes, my mom used to cook with lard. And to tell you the truth, Renee, that was the best tasting food. I mean, this is why I'm this way now, because my mother's cooking, and that was just wow. I mean, you almost died. I mean,
it was just a moment. It was like I don't know. So my next door neighbor, I was a single mom at the time, so I had 3 children at that time, and I moved into this little cul-de-sac, and it was all like single women, single moms. And my next door neighbor, she was competing in bodybuilding, or she was doing back bikini, I think she was. But she's like, I need to introduce you to my coach. She'll help you learn and understand the sport. And so she introduced me to my first coach, and she taught me that cheese was not a protein.
That cheese was good. I remember when we were kids, we used to get the government cheese, and it'd be like really thick, and it was the best. It was the best cheese.
It was so good. Pierogies with that. Oh,
Oh my god, we used to we had like sometimes I put potatoes on it, and I put like my mom cooked boiled potatoes, put potatoes on top of my cheese. That tastes so good. And they still make it, but it's just not the same. It doesn't cut right. Doesn't it? Don't really melt right.
You
I
got to
don't
buy the
know.
block, like these big
Yeah,
blocks of cheese you used to get. It was so good.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. It just maybe just me just being back then. I grew up in the good part of the '80s, and I don't know. It's just, but everything you have to change and progress as a person, and that friend of yours, is she still competes or she just
Well, she was a competitor, so that was 12 years ago, and
mhm.
so she we had a team. It was Angie's Angels, and she became a good friend of mine. She stopped. She's a nutritionist, so she stopped her team and got out of the business. But we stayed friends, so we're still friends to this day. We meet and talk. But yeah, so she was my first interest into got me. It was so funny. Just she's like, "Oh my goodness, we have a lot to do." She met me like a half a grilled cheese sandwich and like a half of cream of tomato soup is okay. Like, I didn't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I learned to like vegetables, and she taught me a lot. And then I moved. I did figure when I first got into it, and I look at those pictures now. I'm like, what was I doing on stage? Like I should never have gotten up there. It was bad. I ate like a jar of peanut butter, I think, 5 weeks before my first show because I was still in the mindset, oh, peanut butter's good for you too. It's good, but yeah.
It's good, but not good for you per se. Because I know a lot of bodybuilders, y'all love peanut butter because it's not too like, especially if you're diabetic. My mother's diabetic; she loves peanut butter. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just a good It's a good snack. You want to have a little like an apple or something like that. But then sometimes some people just eat it like out of a jar, like eating raw cookie dough.
I hid in my pantry my first show 5 weeks before the show, and I ate a whole jar. And it wasn't the natural stuff. It was like Skippy or Jif or something. It was like, and yeah. And then I see my pictures. I was like, oh, why? Wow. Oof. Shame on me. I've like now I'm looking back at that saying, I wish I knew then. And that wasn't that long. I started competing 11 years ago. Um, 12 years ago, I started prepping for this first show. So it took me about a year and a half to get ready to get on stage. And I wasn't ready to get on stage anyway, but I just wish I could go back and know what I knew, because then I'm like, wow, where would I be now if I knew that? But bodybuilding, I think it's a learning experience for all of us, right? I think even with coaches, I'm with my last coach. I will never leave him. I love him to death. He's really learning about my body. And I think that was one of the key pieces. You can't keep switching coaches because once your coach learns you, you can get that swing. But if you give up on your coach or blame your coach, or then it ruins the mojo. So yeah, I learned. I've had several different coaches, but I'm kind of settled. I use this particular coach, Shelby Starnes, who's phenomenal with women's bodybuilding.
I,
I used
that's a
him several years
that's
ago. He's the
that's
man.
the that's the name that gets dropped. I know he is like the female bodybuilding whisperer. I've interviewed ladies that have been trained
Yeah.
by him, are still being trained by him. He's just one of those guys that just really knows, really understands a woman's body, and because I remember I interviewed a lady who was a figure competitor. She was working with a guy who was a pro level bodybuilder, champion level guy, and it just didn't work out because he was like, a thing this women and men are different. We're the same species. We're all humans, but we're different breed of human. What you can work for a man is not gonna work for a woman. And sometimes, there's a good relationship with coaches. I know a lady who had a coach. She loves her coach, and he passed away, and she took a while before she found the right coach. And Shelby, guys like Shelby. I saw there's also Nasir, also I think Brandon Ray, and a lot of names get dropped. These are pretty good. Who was your last coach before Shelby?
I used the one right before Shelby was Trey Hodge, who's down in North Carolina. I love
Yeah,
Trey.
yeah, Trey. Yeah, Trey. He does. He works with Monique Jones. I know he works with Sheena Olick. I mean, and he's right here in my home state. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love Trey. Trey and we got along really, really well. I think he and I, um, he's expanding his chiropractic business. He's a really, really good businessman, and I think I needed a little more hand holding. But I had used Shelby. He was my third coach. I've had 5 total coaches, and I used Shelby was my third coach. And then I bought a few gyms. My husband and I bought some gyms, and they went sour during COVID. And I felt financially, I just needed to make better decisions for my family, not because they're sacrifice a lot for me. A lot of times bodybuilders say we sacrifice a lot. No, we're given such great opportunities to do this. We're choosing to do this. Our families aren't choosing to do this. They're stuck with dealing with us when we're doing this. So I was financially, I drained a lot of money out of our accounts trying to keep the gyms open, and I just couldn't justify financially. So I used another coach, and then Shelby was always there, in my mind because we did so well together. And then I used Trey, trying to kind of find the mix after the last coach before him, which I won't mention his name because we didn't get along very well. And then my husband said to me, you know what, you've never, so 2 years ago, my husband's like, you've never felt better than when you're with Shelby. He physically, makes me get health checkups. He made me get blood work. He's like, I'm older, and he recognizes an older woman's body. And the fact that he made me get the blood work before he would start working with me again and to give me a plan and to see how we were going to go. So my husband's like, let's invest, and I'll never change again. So then he got my pro card last year, and I wouldn't have done it without him because mentally it's something, right? Because I think when you get up there, I'm always like the person doubting myself. Like, do I deserve this? As a matter of fact, when they called my number, I didn't believe it. And I just started bawling my eyes out. And Sandy had to talk me off the ledge because I was just standing there frozen. I was crying. My eyelashes were down my face. I just couldn't believe it really happened. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I started up figure. Then I went into physique. I got too big. I got a feedback from the judges that I'm too big. I outgrew figure. And then I went into physique. And I'm never going to have that. I had 4 children out of my belly, a set of twins out of that. And I'm never going to have that tiny little waist. And physique is evolving to be bigger with still tiny waists. So I kind of fit better into bodybuilding. So then I moved into bodybuilding when I went back to Shelby 2 years ago.
Yeah, because like I said, Shelby is a probably top. There's some controversy around here with some stuff, but sometimes it's with certain people. I'm not going to name certain names either myself, but right. Yeah, it's this is like I said. I've talked to this yesterday with one lady who competes in OCP. She's a bikini competitor. It's about trusting the process, but you also have to understand the process.
Right.
And once you understand it, you can fully trust it. We hear somebody coming through here. This is a guy who. Great fan of ours or this channel, and also he's a great guy. This is my man, the Art of Female Muscle podcast. Hey George, shout out to him. He does content on women's bodybuilding also. And this is my brother right here, KL the Wanderer. He also does content on women's bodybuilding, also does stuff too. He says good afternoon. Say good afternoon to you. Yeah, and it takes time. And it's your figure division. It's even that division starting to look like. I was like, if you look at it now. If you take the figure girls now, they look closer to like the Linda Murrays back in the day. Because Linda Murray, I wasn't a big Linda Murray fan. I was more like Laura Craval. I loved Vicky Gates. Angela Langer was a legend back in the 80s. Remember Angela Langer? She was a beautiful physique. I think people like people talk about Iris Kyle. She changed the sport. Being a 10-time champion. And people can say like this, she is 10 champions, 10 physique champions. But it's still Olympia champions. She has 10 of them. She has 2 more than Ronnie Coleman.
Right.
Yeah. So, what was that like? That first time you're on stage, you're wearing the high heels, you're posing, you're turning around. What was that like for your mindset?
Yeah, like I said, I shouldn't have been on stage. I wasn't ready. Now I know I wasn't ready, but my coach is like, nope, you're getting there. You dieted down to this. You're getting on stage. So. I was terrified. I remember going, it was a good venue. It was Craig Johnson up here in the Allentown area. He puts on really great shows and he makes it as comfortable as he can. And the judges there were amazing judges. They were really good. But yeah, I was terrified. And I think because there were very little competitors in that show, it was a smaller show. I got to the finals, which I didn't deserve to be. And the girl that was up against me for overall, in figure, she was a real tall woman. She was getting ready for nationals the next week, and she deserved to win her pro card. And I don't know if she did or not. I never followed up, but so I'm standing there with her, and she was like 5. I'm only 5'1", so she was like 5'8", and here's me like 5'1", And so I stood up and I like leaned into her armpit, and she was like, "What is this girl doing?" I was just hugging her because I thought she was awesome. but,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, so
it's good, especially try to have support especially with women. And one thing is, you're on that stage wearing those clear heels, and and one of my jobs, I had quite a few jobs when I was coming up. I used to work at a gas station. I worked in textiles. I worked at a food processing plant. I also had this little job when it was at night. I used to work in a strip club, or they call it a gentleman's club. They weren't gentlemen, when they were acting. And you have to perform. You have to really set a presentation. You have to do it in high heels. That's tough. So you made a switch from figure. Do you feel like saying, "Wow, get off these damn heels"?
I donated those heels. I never looked back. I gave them away to another woman who was doing it, and I never looked back. Yeah. God bless them. They're walking around in those things. I used to have to carry my feet are wide, so I used to have to carry a blow dryer with me, and I would heat them up to get the plastic to expand to my feet. So when they expanded and then my feet got in and then it cooled off, they were glued to my feet. So when I took them off, I was so happy. I was like, thank goodness I got too big. So yeah. So I was crushed by the judges. I thought, it was the feedback was, I took it personally, and you can't take it personally, but I took it personally back then, that I'm too big for figure. I'm like, how could I be too big for figure? But I understood it after I went back and the emotions calmed down. And then I looked, I'm like, you're right, I'm too big for figure. Thank goodness. Now let's go physique. So yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, it's a process. But like I said, again, you look at the figure girls now, they almost look like closer to physique compared to when they first started.
Yeah.
And this is talk about how the divisions are starting just to meld, where like someone like good example like Natalia Cuejo can stand on stage with Andrea Shaw. I think Sarah Vilgas, she's still on the more leaner, smaller side. She has that.
Natalie could stand there in bodybuilding next to Andrea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Natalia.
Natalia. But like I say, they always go say like, I don't want to go up to women's bodybuilding because I don't want to be femininity, and I don't want to lose my femininity. Yeah. But the fact is, you're about as big as some women in bodybuilding. I mean, it's about the process, and like I said, now you got to think about it, she's not even 30 yet. And she started out as figure, and and she went up and up and up and up. You have also, like, if you follow me on social media, Ashley Jones, who started also in figure, and she's getting that level. I mean, she's going to do an interview this latest evening with a guy who I know who's right here in North Carolina. His name is Glenn Young Senior. He's run his own magazine, which is called Amazon Fitness Magazine.
Oh yeah.
She just got sponsored by him. And maybe someday she'll come down here, and maybe I'm gonna get to meet her in North Carolina. We got here a man here, Chad Davis, coming through. He says, "Good afternoon, brother George. On my way to work. I hate to be here for a short period of time. Miss Renee, hello. Big shout to you. I love your 2022 Northern contest. Love your back pose and excellent form. Wow, you have a fan. He really knows you. Yeah, you need to. So, folks, we're gonna do this. We're gonna dip into Renee's social media a little bit. I know you guys can see the pictures, and you ain't like that. You get a little excited, but here it is. This is I keep telling you guys, and there's no fish for you, Renee. It's just something I got to tell, because you guys out there, you can be a little weird, you can be a little creepy. I know we love these ladies, but no D pic. She has a husband. She got kids. Come on.
And I could kick your ass. No.
Yeah, she could kick your ass. So we're gonna go here at social media, and we have here Anna C. You just got your membership as an IFBB Pro.
I did.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, what was that feeling when you first got that card in the mail?
Actually, now it's electronic. It's kind of little, it took that little wind out of it. You just, I don't know, you just print it off. I'm showing you it now, but you just print it off. But when I did print it off, it was like, I carried it around. I put it on the refrigerator for the kids to see. It's just, I mean, I always wanted, like I told you, I dreamt of it. I just didn't think I could do it. I wanted to do it. But it was like, wow, these women are so amazing. Can I be there? Can I get there?
Yeah.
So yeah, that little underdog thing is
Yeah,
man,
that's
right?
what I used to watch. I used to watch that cartoon as a kid. Here I come to save the. No, that's Mighty Mouse.
Yeah,
There's no need to fear.
yep,
Underdog is here. I
yeah,
used to
that's him.
love that and TNC Tuxedo. Yeah, I used to remember watching those when I was growing up.
Yeah,
And this is also you work as a coach also here.
yeah, I do. I volunteer, so I'm the strength training coach for our my daughter's high school's cross country, track, and softball teams. So I think you have to give back once you if you get are blessed with the opportunities to give back. So yeah,
And here you
my
go.
friend my
There's your
friend did
shirt.
that shirt for me. Yeah, she
Yeah.
gave it to me when I got home.
And here's the picture of you when you won your right here. Look at
Yeah, that was
that.
where I was hiding all the makeup flying down my face and the eyelashes popping off, and and the Sandy trying to pull me back into the show because I just lost my mind. It was I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
Yeah, you probably feel like you look at the mirror, you feel like you look like Tammy Lee Baker. Remember her when Jim
yeah,
Baker got
yeah, yeah.
she's got out of place. And like I said, for a woman your age, you have a good physique, you have good development. It's like I said, it's a lot harder for mature women because especially if you're not genetics is a factor,
Yep.
and it's about also hard work and also conditions very pertinent here. Here is a little clip here from it was a show, and
That
I
was
think
that was the finals. That was to determine which one of us was going to get our pro card.
uh-huh. I
So
think
she was
that
the heavyweight, and I was the lightweight winner.
uh-huh. And I think didn't she won the pro card too? I think I forgot who was that lady.
No, she didn't. She won her class. I think she did physique. She won. See, in physique, if you win your class, you got your pro card. In bodybuilding, you had to win the overall to get your pro card.
hmm It's crazy.
So
Like it,
I think
yeah.
she might have gotten it. I won it here, and I think she might have gotten it in physique. But she was from Canada. She wasn't
Mm.
actually a very nice woman, but I don't want to say.
Oh, well, a friend of mine competed there. Amanda Schnook. She's from Canada, and she competed at that show. She's a really great lady. We met a while back here in North Carolina, and she's really cool. Sometimes there's some people just don't have good personalities, all depending, you know. And here's some more pictures here. And
When you're
hmm,
doing the shows, you get really emotional, and it's you can't really. I mean, I've seen some pretty ugly things backstage, but I've seen some. I met my one of my closest friends right now. I'm going to give you her contact for you to interview her. She and I did the DC show together. And she and I are now talk every single day, and that was only last June that we met, and we've become really really close over that. So I think bodybuilding brings you just a community together. That's my daughter. It's my high school.
oh, she
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
cute. She looks just like you.
I don't know about that, but she's beautiful. She looks more like my husband, I think.
Uh-huh. You got to take it because you know what? He just put it in the oven. You did all the baking.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I know we talked about before. You have a son, and he's 5'0".
Yes, that's our son getting he's getting his degree or his badge there.
Yeah, he's a state trooper, and as I said again, we thank you for his service. Even though the police are not as popular in certain communities, especially mine, but I got respect for what they do because you know what, it's a tough job. Especially sometimes, sometimes there's always some bad apples in a barrel, but if there's a good person, he's a good young man. He's your child. You know,
Yeah.
you got some more. You look pretty good. This is here, Christopher Walken. That's a legend. He was in that new Doom movie. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
And
My other daughter, one of my twins, she's into jujitsu. Yeah, so
mhm,
that was her
yeah,
getting one of her stripes on her belt.
yeah. I do content on MMA, mixed martial arts, and boxing. Especially on women. It's a tough sport. Mixed martial arts,
Yep.
and and like I said, what's your routine as you work out? What's that? What's your how you start your day?
Yeah, so because I do have a lot of things. We have my husband owns a steel manufacturing company, and I do I do all the sales training for that. I'm a retired college professor, so once in a while I'll pick up an adjunct course. I'll teach a college class or two. I do a lot of volunteer work. So I work very strongly with my daughter and her my high school. She's the only one left. Our oldest is 32, and then the youngest is 16. I do a lot of work. So I get up between 4 and 4:15. I try to be in the gym by 4:30 in the morning. So I get my workout done and get home so I can eat and then take her to school until she's driving. So Yeah, but right now I'm doing which trying to I've had gosh, 8 upper body surgeries. Both arms are reconstructed, elbows and shoulders, and was having some shoulder issues. So I got a couple shots in it. Got one a couple weeks ago, and then so right now I'm doing some German volume training. So I'm doing a 6-week German volume training, so low weight and high reps, and it's brutal, like brutal. But it's because it's not heavy weight. I'm not hurting myself, so I'm kind of excited about what the outcome in the next 3 weeks will be.
Is it more brutal than leg day?
Yeah, well, today was leg day GVT training. So
Ooh.
yeah, so it's 10 sets of 10. That's what you do, and you only have 60 seconds to rest in between. So it's yeah, you can't do heavy weight. You do about 60% of your max in 10 sets of 10. And by the end, you're just dust. So, but I'm loving it. If I don't start my day in the gym, I'm probably not as nice as I am if I do start the day in the gym.
Yeah, there's an old saying from my partner would say this: "What doesn't make you stranger, make you stronger." Hello, Renee. I want to tell you something. You are beautiful. I'm sorry, he just can't have it. We have my man here, Autumn Muscle. He says, "Your IG profile states you have a doctorate. What is it in?" So you are a doctor. You're not a sawbone, but you're a doctor. So
it's funny because I grew up with a pretty poor family, and I joke about this. My dad was my mother's school bus driver when he got out of the army, and they used to go parking in the school bus. And nowadays he'd be arrested, right? But for them, they ended up getting married. So she got married at 19, but she had a scholarship to be a nurse, and he said he wouldn't wait for her. So she did not work, and my dad was an oil man. And when I say oil man, not that we had oil, he delivered oil for a living. So I grew up on not that big side of town. Lived in a row home growing up, and but my father was old school and said I was just going to be local. I was going to be a waitress my whole life. That's what he told me. So I took it as a challenge, and I got my bachelor's degree and took loans out, and then I got my master's degree, and then I went on for my doctorate, and I got my PhD is in organization and management. So I really help companies, and that's why I do all the volunteer work with women. I really like helping younger women who are trying to get into the business community or understand how to work in the business community, because regardless of what people say, there's still, I wouldn't say a glass ceiling so much as there's still stereotypes. So I try to help them overcome them, because I'm perfect. When they think bodybuilder, they don't really think of me. So
yeah. Like I said, stereotypes because I'm black, so we get more stereotypes. And like this is where Renee, this is why we're lucky, because I see some aspects of you in my own mother. In my mother, she passed away about it's gonna be about 4 years ago this coming summer. She was my woman. I took care of her because she had kids, and like this. My father got married when she was 16. She had my oldest sister. Well, I have a brother, my father's first son, but my oldest sister, she's like 65. I'm 49. My younger brother, he's 40. He's 46. For when we're coming up, this is true story. When my sister was carrying her first child, my mother was just a few months pregnant with my younger brother. And because then when she had the next child, people thought me and my younger brother were her children. She thought it's like telling my sister, "You got 4, all these, you have all these 4 boys." No, she had 2 of her own, because she has 6 of us. Me and my brother, 2 last of my mother and father.
not my mother.
Yeah, and like my mother, my father, say the other guy. The other guy would say this: "My father was a drunk and a fiend. My mother never liked one bit." But he was my father. He passed away 10 years ago, and we settled our differences. And this is where we have so much. I don't have kids. I just have me. But I can really see some aspects of you and my mother, and your mother and my mother. It's just really, this is why I enjoy talking to women like yourself, because then you find so much commonality with them. Here we got a man here, Chad. He says this here. Chad says, "Brother George, I just pulled up to work. I really hate to go. Please take brother, probably take care. Miss Renee, I sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I started to follow you on IG. I send you your message tonight. Hope." And this is from a man, the Art of Female Muscle podcast. He said, your profile also says you are an author and professor. Where do you teach and what subjects? And what are some of your things that you have written and published? So you're a professor. So professor, tell us,
Um,
share us your experience in
So
the college.
I taught at one of the Penn State campuses here for a while. Um, I taught for 4 or 5 years. Then I taught down at Cabrini University, which is actually now no longer in business. They were taken over by Villanova. And then my last position was with St. Bonaventure University in their MBA and PhD program. So I taught them, but I taught it online. I did that. Now I'm kind of, well, I say I'm retired, but I'm not because I'm always doing something for somebody. Yeah, my stuff would bore you. I do research for business. My dissertation was in various marketing styles. I was in the pharma industry for a long time. I mentioned I worked out at Research Triangle Park before, so I worked for a CRO, clinical research company down there, and I did some data collection on companies and on how would they like to be approached by salespeople. So looked at different things like sending them a baseball, trying to hit one out of the home run. I would do some unique sending baby shoes, trying to get my foot in the door. So we were trying to see what would work. So I published on that. Recently I've did one on it's published, you can find me, but my stuff's boring. But I did one on people working out and stress relief and how do they feel about the gym? Does it really help them? So yeah, all my articles are very not fun. I would love to publish a book like fiction because I love reading fiction. So I'd love to do that someday, and I may. I started working on one and doing some illustrations, but I don't think I know my age is going to get in the way of all the stuff I want to do. So I don't think I'll ever get to it. I'll die before that.
Well, you know what? You know what? It's never too late to do what you want to do because
There's so many on the list like
yeah, I
this.
know, but you know what? It's about the sometimes don't say you can die this year. This times I wish I was immortal. I want to do more things, but I know that we're not meant to live forever. We have a short term life, especially with my family condition. I know, heart issues. One of my sisters, she just had surgery because she had a little
Awesome.
episode a while back. I mean, but you're doing a lot for someone who had to raise 7 kids. You have a job, you have this, you have a career. And also you're competing in bodybuilding, which can take up a lot of time. Instead, again, money is the one thing. The cost of being, especially for you women, it costs you more because the fact is, the guys that have put on banana hammocks and board shorts. You ladies, not only got to count the travel to the shows, the cost, especially as an amateur, the cost of entry fees, your hair, your makeup, jewelry, tanning. The tanning, that's the thing. You got to get spray tan. You got to get butt naked. It's
That's
just
cool too.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
worst part of eating, I think.
yeah, that's cool because you're sitting there. You're like you got to, and you get to get everything. You can't miss any spots because it
Don't
gets
be
a little
shy.
blotchy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got here from a man. This is from a man. Chad. He says, Chad. Let me populate here. Sorry. There it goes. To hear from you soon. Sorry, the message got cut off. Excuse me. Please keep the great physique and work, Miss Renee. Also, this is from my man Art. He says, "Yeah, the bucket list just keeps getting bigger and bigger." Yeah. One thing I would love to do is I would love to travel a little more. But the cost of traveling, for me, I got the opportunity to go to Savannah a couple of years ago and see my first bodybuilding show. And it was a great chance. I mean, I met some bodybuilders here in North Carolina too. There was again, the guy who I mentioned, Glenn, he had a little debut for his magazine. I met some ladies and a couple of ladies I did interviews. And it was just a experience to be it there to see competitive. Actually, one person I saw at the Savannah is the man who has saved women's bodybuilding. And Renee, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to do this every time I say his name. Yo, Jake! Yo, Jake!
Yo,
I want
Jake.
that money. I want that gun. Jake Wood. Anytime I say his name, I gotta do it.
Business.
Yeah, huh?
We're blessed to have him in our sport.
Yes, and he sponsors the Olympia. He promotes Olympia. He's the Rising Phoenix. Also, I think he has a hand behind the upcoming show Triple O Dynasty, and also there's a new show in coming to California. And as you follow the whole thing with Arnold, You know, I mean, when I started this content, it's growing up. I was a fan of Arnold. I used to watch his movies,
I was.
Terminator, Conan Barbarian. One of my favorites is one people don't talk about a lot. It's a movie called Raw Deal. You know, he was in. It's a classic. Predator. Those are classics. But
Yeah.
then from people I've talked to and stuff is that Arnold's an asshole.
Yeah, well, I used to go. I actually, a friend of mine, she competed in the bikini amateur 4 or 5 years ago, and I went with her to help her backstage because her husband was a jerk at the time, divorced now. But I helped her, and I went there for years and years and years. But you know what? Just like he can choose to deny our validity and not allow us to compete there, we don't have to give him more money. So I say, so long. There's a lot of shows I can go to. I don't care because they replaced. What was very annoying is last year when they took out figure, and they put slap fighting in there. Come on, seriously? You're gonna have women smack each other across the face, and you think that's more feminine than figure?
And
So
yet,
what? But it's his money. Do what you
man,
want, but I'm not going to support him
I remember when he started having pole dancing.
either.
What's hey, no one throwing ones. What's the point? Just be on stage and not throwing you ones. You just But like I said, that's his show. He wants to do what and do. I mean, rise up the money to $500,000, where you ladies are getting peanuts. Like I was watching how one day I followed Tamara Vaughn. She fell doing her routine, and fitness is tough. I've interviewed a lady. Yeah, I interviewed a couple of ladies that competed fitness. One lady who made a debut at the Arnold class, her name's Anna Famina, Stephanie Jones, who's now going to switch over to wellness. And the divisions have, like I said again, have really, really changed over the years. And to me, bikini and wellness, and no offense, I've interviewed ladies in those divisions. Well, actually, bikini, some ladies who compete were like double dipping, but I hadn't got myself a pro yet. I got that one coming up. I hope I get the opportunity to talk to lady wellness. But those two divisions are not really part of bodybuilding
They
per
should have their own
se.
show. They could have their own show.
Because you saw that Taylor Mannion just announced that they're going to get an extra $100,000.
Yeah, 130,000 from what Wolfpack, I think.
Yeah, Wolfpack. And I mean, you
Good for
can't.
them.
Yeah, I mean, I know the thing is because it's not aesthetically pleasing for your divisions. Everybody saw like, well, one guy who I got on here, and you saw I interviewed him, and that's Ryan Johnson, the on spot. He, I can understand how he's frustrated about what's going on with women's bodybuilding, but you know what, you ladies work just as hard, and if it wasn't for women's bodybuilding, it would be no fitness, would be no figure, would be no physique, you know. And
Yeah.
because those other divisions came in, they just evolved with the rest.
Yeah, I think, they do. They can do what he wants, right? All promoters, they can do what they want. Most of the time, the cost of us entering those shows and paying for the divisions and to compete in each of those, like we don't get enough money. It's not free for us to enter. So we have to pay they don't pay enough that they can say, "Oh, it's costing us money." No, it's maybe costing them time, but it's not. They're making a choice. They don't like it, so they don't want to put us in. And you know what? More power to them, but I won't go to any of those shows. I won't support those. And I was so proud, and I don't know if it happened because they weren't ready or not, but I was so proud that there were no women bodybuilders in the amateur and only one or two physique competitors. Good for them, showing some, I feel, whether it was or true or not, I'm going to believe it because it made me feel good, that they were supporting the pros. And
Well, I think the problem is also you just had nationals a couple months before that, and
yeah,
then you remember when they started. There was last year, was it the year before last, when they was going to have women's physique, the women's bodybuilding that first time for last year when they had women's bodybuilding for the first time for the amateur. I interviewed a young lady who competed at that show. It was only 4 competitors, and not enough to get their pro cards because I think and then also I think it's too early for some competitors to get ready, and then the holidays. You got to think about it. It gets around Christmas. If you have kids and you have family, you gotta spend your time, enjoy, eat. But maybe next year, some might try to jump on it, but maybe probably not because they want to say, you know what, if you're not gonna represent represent our division, we're not. What's the point of us coming there? I mean, like there was a lady who did earn her pro card as a figure competitor, and I'm surprised not more women who are doing physique I mean, do a figure, jumped over, see, hey, you know what? Let me try to see if I can get a pro card over here. We have here of my man, Art. He says this. What is your opinion on some things that can be done to get more women interested in competitive bodybuilding? And what are some things that can be improved when it comes to the women's division? So, what's your thoughts? You've been good, you compete for a good while as an amateur, and what have you seen that you feel like that could really change to help these divisions along the way?
Well, I mean, just now, me trying to plan out how and where I'm going to compete. Again, I understand it's the promoter's decisions, but there's literally 8 shows that I could choose as an IFBB. That there's 8 shows I could choose to compete in. Like, really? Think about all the shows around the country for the amateurs. But even for them, like, there were so few bodybuilding opportunities for me. It doesn't hurt. I don't understand. It doesn't hurt them to have, if even if 1 or 2 show up. I think there needs to be more opportunity, because to understand what we need to do on stage and get that feedback, if there's no shows, we can't get the feedback. And those local shows, you don't get like a pro card. We pay, most of the time, it's like $175 or more to compete on the stage, plus everything else you do, thousands of dollars to get ready for all of it. So it's not really hurting them to have it. I don't know why they don't, because what's a trophy? $50. So even if you get one competitor, pay them that $50, and they're still making $100 on that competitor. So I think there's just not opportunities for other women to even see what is bodybuilding. No, the reason why I even switched from physique to bodybuilding, not just because I don't have the waist, but Helen Davis, she probably doesn't even know this, but she was talking to me back and forth on Instagram. And she said to me, she's like, you should come over to bodybuilding because we had more fun. And backstage, I'll tell you what, women's bodybuilding, all the shows that I did do the past 2 years with even physique and body, we had so much fun. We were talking, we were laughing, we're dancing, the music backstage, versus the bikini competitors. And they do their thing, but they were nervous or just mean to each other or whatever they were doing. But we were trying to bond. I mean, I've made friends for life because of that. And I think being able to see that, maybe having that opportunity, but doing it in, I don't know what, maybe 10, 15 shows. I don't know how many. I mean, I wanted to do a show in Florida so bad as an amateur, and they didn't have any opportunities for me because the women's bodybuilding division just didn't offer them at their shows.
Yeah, because I know it was like last year. One point there was going to be a show in Texas, but then they dropped it. Then this year, I mean, there was a lot of shows that just was one time was on this, like the European Championships. That's gone. Guys like Tim Gardner, who had the Puerto Rico Pro, it's gone.
I wanted to do that show so bad. That was the show I wanted to make my pro debut. Like
yeah.
It took me 10 years to get here. And then it's gone. I was like,
yeah. I know Linda Murray, she had a couple of shows. She had Savannah and Norfolk, and those are gone. She has Atlanta.
She's still offering in Atlanta, because I was close to picking her show, but it was like a little too soon for me.
Yeah, and I think there was going to be another show in Atlanta, but that was off the list. And then there was going to be a show over in Great Britain that was off the. It's just promoters like to say, well, the cost of the this and that and that, but and then they use the excuse saying, yeah, no one wants to come see the division, but when you buy the ticket, you come see. I would say this: if I go to a show, I come see the certain division. I might say, you know what? I'm not in the mood for guys, banana hammocks, and boy shorts. I'm going to walk out. I'm just going to come back and see the women come back. But it's just maybe, like I said, I understand it's a business, and but maybe it's just me. I have those polyamorous eyes. Like I said, I'm a fan of you ladies. I respect what you do, and I think you deserve a little more recognition, opportunity. Money would be great because I remember I saw how Margie Martin mentions last year when Chester Dion won the Tampa Bay Pro. It was $3,000 when it was a couple of years ago. It was $5,000. You look at how the top 10 men in the Olympia get money, but then everybody else is only top 5. Andrea, who's the Mr. Olympia champion, gets $50,000. She gets that in the Rising Phoenix. They don't have the car anymore because Jake is now he's expanding. He's doing shows, and he has to cut little costs. He had the master shows last year. He had Aria Romania. I know somebody used to say they loved it. They would love to come to that show, but that Romania is too out of their budget to go. I mean, I think they're going to bring it back in 2025. I think since they're going to have the Olympia back in Vegas, I don't know they're going to switch for 2025. Have the Masters Olympia in Orlando.
Yeah, I like that idea. I heard you say that, and I thought, you know what, that's pretty smart. I also think not only having more amateur opportunities, again, it doesn't cost a whole lot, and we pay a whole lot to like it's one of the few sports you pay to compete, right? People say that all the time. Like we pay. So I don't know what it's costing them. Yeah, maybe people aren't paying. Your families, you're getting the incremental ticket purchase from the families of the competitors. Most of them will do that, right? And the competitors paying. So I don't know what the additional cost is by adding category. Like I can't wrap my mind around that. But I do think from a pro perspective, my stage weight last year was 122 pounds. I'm going to probably this year be about 126. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
I have to be extremely lean. Like that's my goal, because I'm going to have a kick-ass routine, and I'm going to have to be extremely shredded, because there's not a 212 class in women's bodybuilding. We have one class. Now, maybe that's because there's not enough competitors, but how do you know if you don't add a lightweight class, have the lightweight and heavy class, that you won't have more women's bodybuilders? Because we can get there. I'll never be one of those. I'm not thinking I'm going to the Olympia. Like, I'm not that stupid. I'm not that arrogant of myself. Maybe if I was younger, I would have that goal, but I'm 5'1", and right now I'm about 140 pounds. And, I'm never going to be the size of Hella, or I'm not going to be the size of Andrea. It's never going to happen, no matter how much the Lord and thank him for his kindness. But if they would have another class, a lightweight and a heavyweight class, and I know was it Tiffany? There was a competitor who was talking about it highly about having two classes, because it wasn't fair for the lighter weight bodybuilders, because do the judges want the size, or do they want all the other categories that they talk about? So I knew there was that controversy, but I don't do it for that reason. I don't do it either.
Yeah, I know back in around the early 2000s, they did have the lightweight and heavyweight classes for women's bodybuilding, but then they got rid of it. And then, physique supposed to be like the lightweight division, because if anything, physique is supposed to be like, if you like this, I think they gave the idea 212 from the physique. It was supposed to be. And I know, like I said, you're a lot older, and the Masters is really growing a lot. A lot of master competitors. And I interviewed, at least last year, I interviewed some ladies who did turn pro card in women's bodybuilding. Ursula Morrow, who turned her pro at the USA's with another lady. I know Hannah Hussein and Brittany Parrish. They turned pro at the North Americans. I interviewed Anastasia Ryder, who turned pro at the at the Nationals. And even Amanda Santos, who turned pro in women's physique, but she also competed in women's bodybuilding. She took second, I believe, in the in the class, in Hayward class. And the funny thing is like this: all the other women's divisions, they get 2 pro cards for each of them. I interviewed a lady who her name is Tamika Tucker. I know I'm throwing names out. I want to know I'm professional.
I don't know a lot of these names, yeah. Because I've been around a long time.
Yeah, her sister turned pro in figure, and they both get their pro cards in different classes. But Tamika didn't win overall. I think she won overall in her class, and I think her sister won overall in the class. But women's bodybuilding, I know they only gave pro card for overall. So, and there was a lot. I know one like JB Hart who competed at that show. They could have gave 2 pro cards out. There was enough bodies in each of those classes to give out 2 pro cards. I mean, Amanda could have doubled it. She could have got pro card physique and women's bodybuilding, but but sometimes they come up short. There's been shows where there've been only one competitor, and then I know was it this young lady named Taylor Rogge? She earned her pro card at the Miss International. She's the only person there, but Jake paid for that pro card. She got it. I think she's going to be switching over to wellness because she competed at back in 2022 in women's bodybuilding, and then she earned a pro card at the Miss International, and then she competed at both the Tampa and the Rising Phoenix. But I think now she's thinking about switching back over to wellness. And those, and like I said, it's becoming the popular division now, because it's they have those, they kind of have, I would say, figure girls upper bodies with female bodybuilders lower bodies.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, we got here a man here, my man, Art of Muscle, and he says this. He says, what are your thoughts about some of the men's arguments that have appeared in the comment section concerning Sarah Vegas and Iris Kyle posts about the Arnold? Yeah, I think I think some people are. I post some stuff about it, and I say like this: let's forget the Arnold. Like Bernie Mac said like this: if people don't like you and they don't think of you, fuck them. Put your handcuffs on their hands and crazy on the lips. But Sarah, she's really been stepping up. I wasn't a big Sarah Vegas fan, but she really has gained my respect for what she's really saying about women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's interesting because I found myself, some of those comments from the guys that he's asking about, like I found myself typing responses back and then stepping back and saying, don't post that, don't post that, don't, and then deleting it, not posting it because, I think what we have to do. So for me, I mean, especially as I'm getting older, and I mean, Andrea is 42 now. So she's
No. She's 40.
40. Okay.
She's going to be 41. Here, I'm gonna show you this. Like this is a while back. A friend of mine, him and his wife Tina Williams, they were up in Detroit working with Andrea, and he sent me this picture. And he's a pro too. He's IB pro. His name is Big Keith. And he knows I love Andrea. I'm a fan of Andrea. He has a wife, and he has his hand over my girl. I mean, you're truth, man. You're my brother, man. I love you, but you get your hands on my girl. And they look at me like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Renee. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't.
No, that's okay.
I just gotta be. I'm
Still,
sorry.
I'm not sure where we went, but back to that comment, the question. I think I have to diet for 21 weeks. I've been dieting for 3 weeks now. I'm going to do my pro debut at Chicago. Whether I go in the open class or I just stay in the masters, I don't know. It depends on what I look like because I will be in the 120s. That's where I'll be competing at. So I don't know when my physique is all said and done. I want to respect the sport enough not to go in a division I don't belong in. I don't belong in physique. I belong in bodybuilding, but where I don't know. I don't want to just compete in masters. I really want to do an open, but we'll see what happens. But I think we get our blinders get on and we see things from our own paradigm. And these men who are talking about what we should think and why we should respect it and we don't deserve to be there and all the other crap nonsense that they say and it's not feminine and all the other bullshit. They need to open their eyes up and take their blinders off and look at it from our perspectives. And that's the platinum rule of life. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The platinum rule is to do unto others as they would have you do unto them. And it requires you to look at it from a different perspective. And I think if they would do that, then those stupid comments, they delete them because they are totally irrelevant to what the point of what Andrea, and she, nothing to do with stripes. She wasn't trying to say Arnold didn't earn his stripes. She was trying to say, if you're trying to make a point and to be as good as or better than the Olympia, which is why he apparently or supposedly added that $500,000 top prize, then you would look at and be inclusive and add more females and add the categories and be the biggest, not be adding more slap fighting and pole dancing. You want to add those two, that's great. But if you really want to compete against the Olympia is the platinum, and Arnold's always going to be gold, and he's going to move down. He's going to be silver. And eventually he will become irrelevant to women who want to compete because who's going to want to even think about the Arnold and say, oh, I got my pro card at the Arnold. So what? Like, it's almost embarrassing to do it when he doesn't support female muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because tomorrow I'm interviewing a lady, Renee Driscoll. Not Renee, sorry, Christina Driscoll. She got a pro card at the amateurs. I interviewed the lady who got a pro card also at the amateur Olympia. That is Miss Latoya. She got her pro card there too. And the Olympia always going to be the big show. I don't call it Mr. Olympia. It's the Olympia. Mr. Olympia is the title. Olympia is the show. And I know it's about it's the men's division. And if you know the pimping game, you can ask your son. He's a cop. It's it's the bottom bitch. The men's division is the bottom bitch. It's always going to bring in the money. And now I think as you saw Bob Ciccarello, or Bobby Chick as I call him, he posted how it's men's bodybuilding and men's classic. Got guys like Chris Sebum, Then you have wellness is coming right behind it, but that's why they're getting the extra $100,000. We got here. And so, man, Money J says, Renee, he's clapping you. Also says, what show did you do to get your pro card? Very first one. Well, she did it. She did the Teen Collegiate Masters, and that's where she got a pro card. That was last year. Also, this is something I don't want to post. Says, may I ask your age, Renee? No, you mean not, because she's a lady. So I'm a Southern gentleman. We never ask a lady her age. So
I don't mind, though, George. It's okay. And I actually did. I did Masters USA's during COVID too, and I got runner up. So I missed it by I lost by 2 points, and that was 3 years ago, I think. Yeah.
It's tough, like I said, and then you got the kids, what your daughters, are they inspired by you? Do you think they'd be interested in competing in bodybuilding, or they feel like, nah, ma, I don't think I want to be watching a bikini? Especially your son say, hey, what's your son's name?
Nick.
Nick say, hey, Nick, I saw your mom on stage in the bikini. Yeah, I say, yo, he got fly. Hey, man, don't talk about mama. Like we boys, we love our mothers. A boy's mother is his best friend. And he probably say, hey, man, you're like, hey, mom, I had to get suspended. I was beat up a guy because he saw you in the bikini.
No, I think my girls. So the oldest one, she works for the ACLU up in Boston. She wants nothing to do with the fitness world at all. She doesn't enjoy it. I have another one who's a teacher. She teaches third grade, and she is into running. So she's running a half marathon. Then I have her twin is into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They both lift though. They lift like every other day and run and do their things. And then my youngest one just got into lifting, and I keep telling her she's just starting to build muscles. She's 16 and just started lifting. And 2 years ago, she said she'll never get into lifting. But now she's lifting with mom. And I think she's got like the wellness. She's got the butt going on. So I'm like, well, maybe, honey. And I'm like, you could do wellness. And she's like, Mom, I'm like, maybe. She's like, oh, maybe. So my son did compete with me back. My other son, he's 26 now. He competed with me about 4 years ago. He did men's physique. And so we did a show together, and that was like awesome.
Yeah. What's it like the house, especially when you diet and your husband? What's your husband's name?
Craig.
Like what's like we like, hey honey, say, and you're on your prep, you say, baby, I love you. I got some food right here. I just said, don't kill me. I know you're only 5'1", but sometimes even there's always, as I was saying, there's always, even the smallest dog has a big fight. Hello? I think she froze. Renee, I think we have a technical difficulty, folks. Let me see. It says she froze. I'm going to send her a message. It could be on my end. I hope it's not. Let me see. Hope it's not on my end. If anybody's in the comment section, put a comment so I can see if it's on her end or my end. Well, there you go. We're going to, wait a minute. Remove. And all right, there you go.
Not sure what happened there. Sorry.
That's all right. Technical difficulties. Yeah, difficulties happen. It's just, So instead of getting about, being, when you're on prep and, when you got the kids at the house and you got Craig and and what's that like for him being married to a?
I consciously, he played, he's a big dude too now. He doesn't lift. He can't. He's a orthopedic nightmare. He wrestled in college and played football. So he golfs now. That's his thing. But I promised him that when I got into this sport, because I didn't get, again, I got into this because it was something that I thought I would miss out in life if I didn't do. So for him, I promised him when I did get into it that if I ever became that evil bitch and I looked like I wanted to eat his arm, that he needs to tell me. Because I know a lot of competitors. I talk to males and females. I have a lot of friends in it. I know oftentimes you don't know you're becoming that animal. You don't know. You just do. And I promise, I told him, so I try really, really, really hard not to be that person, and always wake up blessed, thinking, thank you, Lord, for letting me do this and being here today. So if I think that way, I really try not to be nasty to him. So yeah, I try not to be, I try to be a good wife. I try.
Well, like I said, that's all you can do is try to be a good wife and a good
Yeah.
mother. I know, like I said, it's tough being a woman in sport and to compete. Also, while I was, like I said, I found this video, and it's the video of her when she got a pro card after the Teen Collegiate show.
Mm.
And folks, I want y'all to check it out. And this is where it tells you how someone really is when it's just something that kind of just makes sure it's just how special a person she is. Now just so respect, and I'm just, like I said, it's a great video. So I'm gonna pop it up here. All right. Here we go.
This is Neil Cash with NBC News Online. We're here at the 2023 Teen Collegiate and Masters Nationals with your women's bodybuilding 45 and over overall champion, Renee Covell. She is spunky, folks. Renee, congratulations.
Thank you.
How's it feel?
Oh my gosh, I bawled my eyes out. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Did you cry?
I cried.
Is makeup running?
I cried. But I came here hoping for a top 5. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hoping for a top 5 comeback with an overall title and an IFBB Pro card.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. So how long have you been competing?
10 years.
10 years, a decade of competing. How many national shows have you done?
2. This is my second.
Okay. So how'd you do? When was the last one, and how'd you do?
During COVID, it was out at Phoenix, and I got second.
Okay. Second place. So you just missed it.
Yeah.
And then, so you just missed it during COVID 2020, so it's like 3 years ago, right? Or 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, and that was in physique, though. I didn't do bodybuilding.
Okay. So then you come back, women's bodybuilding, like 2-3 years later, and you were only one top 5?
Yes. You got to be humble. All these women here were amazing. Everyone deserves could win, depending on what we look like in a couple minutes. It changes.
That's true.
Yeah.
But guess what? You won.
I did it.
You won.
My
You cried like a baby.
I cried like a baby. I got phenomenal coaches and an awesome family. I have 7 kids, and my husband's my biggest supporter. So he's here, and my coach is like online with me all the time. He's talking to me, and my posing coach is here. So I got a team, friends that came with me, and yeah.
And it all panned out. So who all do you want to thank out of it? I know you got a million. It sounds like you got a million people to thank. So get the going.
Thank you. Well, I got to talk to the Lord, because last week I was at 134, and to be a lightweight, I needed to be at 120. So,
and you made lightweight today?
I made lightweight, and that was
you were suffering.
I was praying to God, and my coach Shelby Starnes, who's phenomenal. Yeah. And then I worked with Kenny, and Kenny was here working my posing. My really great friend who's here for her first national show in figure. And my husband, he's out in the audience. All my 7 kids have been texting me, and so they've been phenomenal. I mean, it's just so many people have been involved. It's been amazing. I have sponsors, Todd Howe, who's also a promoter. And yeah, he's amazing. He's a wonderful human. And he has a show coming up next week, and I'll be sponsoring that.
So he can give me a shout out, the plug for the show. What's the show called?
Show is called The Delaware State.
There you go.
But it's also open for anybody. Yep. And it's next weekends, and it's awesome.
Yep, there you go. Todd Howe, you're welcome.
We love you, Todd.
All right, anybody else?
All 7 kids, my husband, coaches, Shelby.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. And all my friends, my new friends.
She got a crowd of friends over there, folks.
Yep.
So, all right, what's next?
I'm waiting to hear what Shelby says. Okay. I'm willing to do a small pro show. I'm not big enough to be the girls, but I want to. So as soon as he says I'm ready, I'll go.
Okay. Well, it's exciting. Look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you
Renee,
so much. Hope to see you soon.
All right, you will. All right, so Renee, Neil Cash, NBC News Online. We out. Congratulations. Go celebrate. All right.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, cool. You should truly proud of yourself.
That was, yeah.
you worked hard to get there, and to finally that feeling when they told you, you are now IFBB Pro. It was just. But this is coming a question I ask you, Renee. This is something the other guy asked you. What was that thing that you craved the most? That thing you wanted after the show? What was that thing that was calling your name? Tell us, share with us. What was that was calling you anarchy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was craving anything it was late. That show went that show is no joke. Like I've been at national lots and that I've been to hundreds of shows. That show had so many competitors at it that it went really, really late. The poor figure went after physique, and then I did physique there too, by the way. Um figure went after. They got done at like 10 o'clock at night. I mean, this was a late show. I don't think any restaurants were even open. But I'm a sugar girl. I like sugar, so it's very difficult. Like I could have a whole cake and not eat the cake, just eat the icing. Yeah, so I was likely. I think it was sugar I wanted.
Yeah, I know. Like a lot of ladies say they love like something salty, something sweet, something with carbs. Like a pizza, a burger. I mean, when I was talking to one lady, she ate a lot of. She was eating like ice cream, and then the next thing you know, she got sick. But
Oh,
that's the thing
yeah.
about people. Got to remember about being a bodybuilder. Food is important. It's both a weapon and a tool. But you got to understand what you're going to eat. You just can't eat anything. You have to have lean this. You have to have high proteins, your macros. You have to account for everything when you are working out and training. People always think about bodybuilding, especially against the training programs because of the steroids. But the fact is, that's one of the factors of it. It's like I would say, a small factor. It's about following a diet. It's about following consistency. You got to get up, go to the gym. I know what time you get up to. Like I said, you got a busy schedule. You got to squeeze time to go to the gym and and to work out and to train, and then you have to cook. You still got a 16-year-old home, and I know she always want to eat what you want to eat. Hey, you got to think about it. She probably want to have a nice, mom, want to have a burger and some fries. Say, nah, baby, I'm eating chicken and quinoa. So but it's a lot of work to it. Here, this is from a man, Money J. He says, she has a heart for God. I love that.
Oh,
Also, he says this. He says, in bodybuilding, age is just a number. Yes, quite a few ladies who are
yeah.
like one lady who I got to meet while in Savannah, Irene Anderson. She's almost 60. I think she's about 56, 57 this year. You mentioned, a lady who just competed, who I follow, who just finished last year, Michelle Brent, who's
Mm,
like in her 60s.
yeah, I know that.
I mean, a lady who's a friend of mine, she just turned 59 this year. I mean, it's age shouldn't matter, but like I said, it is tough to stand on stage with these much younger women who have good, like someone like Andrea, who has good genetics, Angela Yo, who has a great physique.
I love her
I
physique.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's just the work you got to put into the sport.
Well, it's also, as we get older, our skin is different, right? So when I get leaner, I'm shooting for 5% body fat because bodybuilding, that's what they want. They want you to have the striations, the visible striations. And for me, because I'm so short, that's about my goal. And so when I get that lean, my skin gets really thin looking. I'm very vascular, and it has a more grainy look, and I guess that's the word for it. Versus someone like younger Andrea, her skin is just still smooth and beautiful. Although
It's like
Linda still is, she's 10 years
she just turned
older than me,
62
and she
just
still
last
has
month.
that beautiful skin. But
Yeah,
but
she just turned 62 last month.
she could get on stage and compete now. I've watched her videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's and it's also staying healthy, right? Because as we're getting older, our organs are getting older too. So we have to watch all of that. And there's a caution. We stay away from things like diuretics because we have to, because we're older, and you're asking for trouble. So
Mhm.
so we have to. That's why I diet so much longer, so we don't have to go to those extreme measures when it comes time to competing.
Yeah, because I take a for which is a fluid pill because I have heart condition, keeps the fluid from around my heart because I
Yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
pacemaker, and I take medication. But since I started losing weight, because at one point after when I was taking care of my mom, I was dealing with her stressful stuff. I was doing this stuff because it helped me deal with my mom's her illness and stuff like that. It kept my mind going,
Yeah,
taking care of her.
You're good.
And I was almost 500 pounds.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
rough on your organs.
yeah, I know.
It's your
And then,
joints. It
yeah,
hurts.
because right now I was seeing a specialist. And I have two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin's. One is bone on bone. I have like you talk about your husband's. I have like a spur here. I have a tear here. I mean, and I know one people talk about doing knee replacement. I said, I might go in and think about do a scope where they scoop up some arthritis
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
like
No.
that. But yeah, it's tough. Like I said, I held jobs for a while and I picked up weight. But I could be in a better condition, but I'm in a better than I was before. I just need to get back in the gym. I took some time off because I was dealing with my issues here. Maybe once they're taken care of, I'll get back in there. But like I said, it's just about taking time and really, going at your own pace. Excuse me. We got here from a man, Chad. He says, "Hey George, sorry about this. I sneaked away just to share my quote to you, Miss Renee. Loyalty means everything, and I am one of the ones that loyal to the FBBs. Okay, now back to the job. Thank you, Chad. All right, I got some fans, I tell you, and also."
I'm your
This
fan,
is
George.
yeah, I appreciate them too. And I said this from man Money J says, I would be interested to see if the tag rail shows up again in the chats. It's unusually a random thing to get a top tier FUB IFBB pro athlete that joins this live stream. Yeah, was it about a couple weeks ago? I do a thing called Muscle Talk Monday. I had a couple ladies who IB pro levels. I had Eunice Kitchen was I think I had Eunice Kitchens because Eunice she actually was at the Olympia last year. She got Andre to autograph her muscle development magazine for me. Shout out to Eunice. I think also I had Maria Q Lieberman on. We were talking about I think it was the I forgot what we were talking about. It was one of the subjects I have on my Most Talk Monday I do about every Monday. And Natalia came here. I'm not too much a big fan of Natalia. She has a great physique, but she's doing New York, she's doing Pittsburgh. I mean, she was a physique champion, and she did a show after the Olympia. I mean, you feel that I mean, what some people say like it's about competition. I have when people say it's about competition, but then same time when you're the top tier level competitor and you're competing in Olympic qualification shows, you think that's fair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to look at their individual situations. Like for somebody like me, I do this because I love it, right? I'm not doing it for the money. And it's a career. Some of that, this is her career. So for her, I know she's got her PhD also. So I know she's looking to be a permanent a professor. But until that happens for her and she gets a tenure track somewhere, maybe that's financially she needed to do it. I don't know. I mean, if it was me, if I was that good, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't because it does take away the opportunities for some of the other people. However, you want to compete if you're that and you need the money, then
But you got to think about it. You don't get much at these
no.
qualification shows. I mean, other than I think was it the Rising Phoenix for because
Yeah,
Andrea's there, she gets $50,000, and
and that
she's going to go
car,
because
get that
yeah,
car.
she they don't have the car anymore. Like I said,
No.
they stop having that. But she's contracted because she was a long time women's race ambassador. Shout out to Jake. Yo Jake, and also you have shows like the Olympia, where I think you should raise the prize money up for, especially when you're the Miss Olympia champion. You should at least Andre should get at least 100,000,
I think she
maybe.
could get 100,000.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought when I was looking at it, I'm like, you know what? Just from a business perspective, that would make a lot of sense, and that would make, I think. I mean, you want to say they want males, right? The male open to be freaky. If you want the freaky women to be in that, make it worth their time. Because the things they have to suffer through, and they do end up suffering a lot more than somebody like me, who I know, again, I won't get to that level. But you know what? They'll know my name by the end of next year. I'm not going to be obscure, this little person that doesn't belong there. I'll belong on stage.
yeah,
But yeah, they should up that. But again, that's not my place. I don't own the show rights. I would
yeah,
love to
no,
be a
yeah.
promoter, and I think I would make it more equitable.
Yeah, that'd be good because one thing if you get like one thing I say like this, there's guys out there who's a fan of bodybuilding. Many of them got deep pockets, not like Jake level. Maybe somebody even have deeper pockets than Jake, but they didn't want to be associated because bodybuilding is considered a fringe sport. It's all of sports there's steroid use, but because bodybuilding because it's so more prevalent compared to the others, that's why a lot of people don't want to get involved in it. But hey, all you gotta do is get the right people, set them together, and and also maybe promote. Also, you have a business. and I found, because you use or syrup. And I don't take too much because I'm pre-diabetic. I don't need too much sweet stuff, but I still eat a little sugar every now and then. And how long have you had this going on?
Yeah, we purchased the farm. We have 5,000 taps up in upstate New York, in Rushford, New York. We purchased that in December of 2019. So we have a partner who's Amish. So he lives up there, and then we go up and tap. And I actually sponsor a lot of the local shows, and I'll sell protein balls. I have a Department of Ag license, and I'll make protein balls, and I'll take them to the bodybuilding shows and sell them there, and try to support the the local promoters.
Uh-huh. And you're working with the Amish, like how there, and it's sort of like look like some like Hennessy bottles right here, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get some good stuff here. I think, especially you sponsoring competitions, and that's what most definitely sponsorship does help. It helps with the cost of
Sure.
training, working out, do you have any sponsors yourself or
Well, Todd Howe, who's a promoter, Todd Howe Promotions. He does the Harrisburg Show, the Philadelphia Classic, and then he does the Delaware State. He sponsored me last year. So he was my sponsor, and then I have a local produce company that provides my veggies for me, and then I have a massage therapist, Christy Gradinsky, Tachinsky, sorry, and she is a sponsor of mine. So she provides all my massages and trying to get my body looking, the way it needs to look. But you know what? You brought up one point with anabolics, and you're right. They say it's a fringe sport because of that, but anabolics are like this much of the sport, and
Mhm,
working out is about this much of the sport. This much
yeah.
of the sport is your discipline with eating and sleeping and drinking water. That's my biggest problem. So,
Mm,
those are the things, the food and the eating it correctly. And, Shelby always says you miss a meal, a kitten dies, because he's trying to get people to eat all of their food. So, I think, it's just a misconception of what people think it needs to be, or they're doing, because they don't understand. The way I look now, I'm going to look much bigger when I'm down another 15 pounds. I'm going to look crazy. People are going to be scared of me, or they're going to think I need an intervention. I've had that go on in the gym before. And I'm like, they think that's from anabolics, and that's not. It's from the fact that my body percentage is less than, 5-6% body fat.
mhm.
So they don't understand. People don't understand what it takes to look like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because yeah.
so they want to blame it on anabolics and are afraid of it. But it's, I think there's such a misconception, but the media does a lot of that. And you're fixing a lot of it, George, too, by what you do for us. So
Well, like I said, it's just a little something because, like I said, I don't have much. Like I said, I don't have kids. I don't have anything. This is something that I've been a fan of you ladies for a women's bodybuilding for a long time. My older brother, he used to be he was an athlete, star athlete. I played football for a couple of years, but I wasn't as good as him. He used to always get the muscle mags, and then I grew up around about the time Lee Haney and guys like Chris Comier and also like that. But y'all women, y'all just when I got to my teenage years, y'all broke my pubescent mind, and I'm a muscle person. I admit it. But then doing content about you ladies, because you know what, y'all do deserve a voice. There's not that many people other than like Ryan over DD on the Spot, the Female Bodybuilder channel. There's David at Female Bodybuilder Forum, my man KL at The Wanderer. Other people that do content on you women, because if you go on YouTube and other social media platforms, it's mostly going to be focused more on the men because it's again they're the ones that get attention. But I remember when I first got my first computer, I used to go on. Back then, we had to do dial up, so I had to wait till my mom was asleep, so she couldn't. So when the phone was off, she wouldn't worry about because if you call after 10 o'clock, somebody would be dead or something like that. So I'd be on chat rooms. And I remember this guy said, "Hey kid, you like bodybuilding?" I said, "Yeah, I like bodybuilding." I said, "There's an old saying. What's that saying?" He said, "When your ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." So it's just the beauty of your physiques. People like Andre and Angela, and also there's one lady who I follow. Her name is Lavinia Rodriguez. She's from Brazil. She has a great look. She's going to be competing in New York at the same time as Ashley. And I think Natalia Kovalev is going to be going back to New York. That's going to be a battle. I hope that she's already Lavinia already got a qualification for the Olympia at the show in Romania. I got to meet Mina Popa when I went to Savannah,
cool.
and that was just like it was.
Wow.
I mean,
Mind
she was.
blowing.
Hmm?
mind blowing.
Yes, I saw Linda at her, but she was overseas. She smiled at me, but I took a picture with a couple of pictures with her, and and there's a couple ladies I met there, and one lady who I don't say her name on my channel because of a particular thing she did, so I don't talk about her anymore. But it was just a great opportunity to meet you ladies.
Oh yeah, I'm
Here,
gonna say that I know who it is, but yeah.
yeah. You follow me enough, So here you go. This is from a man, Art. He says, in my humble opinion, it's strategic on her part, and it's very wise. Every one of those wins in one less competitor she has to worry about at the Arnold. No, she's not the Arnold. You don't have women's physique at the Arnold anymore, and the less competition, the better her chances. He's talking about Natalia, but as you know, she's no longer the champion. Maybe that's also a reason why, because you know what, she should, I know judges like certain people, but then what Sarah did was, mistake Sarah made was she came in a little softer that year before.
She was softer that year.
Yeah, and that what happened to Iris Kyle when she lost to Xena King back in 2005. Then Sarah said, you know what, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And and Sarah's commenting on herself. I love to do an interview with her. And Sarah doesn't worry about money. She always flying to the Olympia on a Lear jet. She didn't put up money for shows like the Texas Pro, the Pittsburgh Pro for women, but he won.
She does a lot for women's physique.
Yeah, and I think the tag's probably part of the Triple O dynasty. And that's doing pretty good. She's I think she's pulling because it's the tweet divisions like women's bodybuilding figure and physique, the ones that got pushed out of the Arnold. And you got Whitney Jones. I'm surprised in fact fitness, but fitness is a tough division to set again.
Yeah.
And you ladies deserve just as much as opportunities. And so get the cost of being a competitor. It's good to have sponsorships. And I know a lot of ladies no offense, a lot of ladies do the, as I call them, the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. We know, OnlyFans like that. It's the way to, because some of them, bodybuilding, they say it's their career, and they have to make ways to make money. If you can hold a good job, have a good career where you can pay for it, that's good. You have a good amount of sponsors to help you, that helps you out. But like I said, again, the cost of traveling, the cost of this, and that. You got kids to take care of. I mean, money that could go to, hey, you know what? Maybe me and my daughter can go shopping one day and do this we want to do. But it's a lot to it as being a competitor.
Yeah. And I'm like, to each their own. Leave me the hell alone, and I'll leave you alone. So if you want to do that, more power to you. Like I understand. They, a lot of them, this is what they want for their careers. They know there's really two shows where you can make enough money for the year, and the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia. If you can't win those two shows, all the other shows, you don't get paid a whole lot. So if this is what you plan to do, you're going to try to buy a gym that you're going to make money at. Stay away from franchises is my advice. Or you're going to do something like OnlyFans or dance at a strip club and try to get some attention. But if they want to do it, hey, more power to them. I think it's awesome. Good for them. I'm very blessed. My husband and I both grew up. He grew up in the projects. I grew up real poor, and we've created a good career for ourselves in business world. And, that's where we make our money. So I do bodybuilding because I love it. And so for me, I'm going to keep competing until I can't. I have 3 shows planned this year, and I would love to do more. I would love to try to get to the point that I can compete in open. But I'm going to go with what, the process says I'm going to go with. But from a financial perspective, it's costly. I'm going to do Chicago, and then I'm going to do Tampa, and then I'm going to do the Masters Worlds out in Pittsburgh. So I got July, August, and September. And those shows will probably, between the hotels and the traveling and all that, it's going to cost us about $8,000-$9,000.
Yeah, and the cost of, like I said, the traveling, the hotels, food. The food, the one thing, the food bill, and I know a lot of ladies, they do after the shows, they do the photo sessions because it's the way, if they get paid a little, especially you don't get into the money part of the show. You want to make a little money on the side, and when like I said again, when you ladies are ripped and shredded and y'all together, that's when they, and everybody says, hey, I saw pictures of Renee, so like.
I have to get more into social media. I think maybe my age, or I don't know. I just always been like, that's not why I'm doing it. But I also want to be an advocate for the sport. That's why I want to talk with you, because I do want women to see that you don't have to do OnlyFans. Like, I know if they get scared about that, or you don't have to be, lose your femininity, and you don't have to not have a family. You can do this at any age. You can do this at any color we are. We can do this at any location in the country or the world that we are. So you can do this regardless of those things if you want to. So so that's why I'm like, all right, I need to start. I really do need to start doing more on social media because I believe in it so strongly and want to promote it. And I'm hoping to be a good role model to show women that they can.
Well, yeah, truthfully, there's one lady who did an interview a while back. She competed in bodybuilding in the '90s. She turned pro around about the early '90s. She made her debut in '99 at the Olympia. I interviewed her. She's from Canada. This is the lovely Mrs. Melanie Horton, and Melanie is almost 60. And
Okay.
and she you wouldn't think this woman is when she's built. I'm seeing you. She sent me a video. Yes, so she posted on her YouTube. I sent you later. You can check it out. She's a great lady. I mean, amazing woman, great physique, great passion. You know, and it's always be debate. There's one lady here who's her name is Natalia. I forgot her
I,
last name.
I
She's
know
from
her.
Russia. Yeah, I think she says she could be doing the Ultimate Classic show. She earned a pro card in Romania, both women's body and physique. Her body,
56.
hmm,
She's 56.
56. You wouldn't think of it. You would think she's probably in her mid 40s.
Yep.
And look at her body.
Yeah,
Oh
she
my God. She was fourth at the Romania. There were two women at that show that just competed at the women at the Olympia, and she beat them out.
I think she was a pro in OCB before she switched over to the NPC.
Yeah, I think she's also official in the IFBB also,
Yeah,
but she has a great
she's awesome.
physique.
Got a beautiful physique, and she's
She
a
has
Shelby
a
client.
what?
She's a Shelby's client, another one.
Oh,
Yeah. He knows
Shelby's cooking
women's
them.
bodies, and he's great as we get older. He's really, really good with our hormones and understanding. Yeah, he's really.
Yeah. Because I know I interviewed one of his clients, Marilyn Yee. And I think she might be making her debut this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we should talk a bit. A lady who I know is Manny Snickers is one of his clients. I mean, I know Helen Trevino was his client for half a minute, but she switched to Nasir, but now she's switching to somebody else. We got here. This is from a man, Money J says, if Natalia Correa does decide to come on your channel, it's a great guest where you ask her why she does it all. These other pro shows outside the Olympics. Yes, I will, because you know what? I can even tell you this. This show is about getting to know people and also asking questions. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat too much. I'll choose my words wisely, but at the same time, I'm not going to try to. This is my channel. This is about giving y'all ladies a voice and also asking sometimes tough questions. I know I'm not morally safer, but maybe something happy like that. So also this from man Art. He says, concerning Natalia and multiple shows, I see it's a wise strategy to her part. Every one of those wins is one less competitor she has to worry about at the Olympia, smaller field, better classes. But it was, last year, like I said, it was tough. There was only 10 women in women's bodybuilding because there was only so many shows. Point system is gone. I think, and then with the physique division, there's still a little bit more shows, but they're still getting that stink eye because it was the division supposed to replace women's bodybuilding. But they both need exist because you got to grow and develop as an athlete.
Yeah, and I think I know they added the show. You sent it to me, the one in California. That's in September. I think like September 21st. I think that one is. So there is one they added, but then they took one away too. So I was like, all right, it was a net zero.
Yeah. And I think there was a show. It was supposed to be Europa, but they now it's moving to another show in Spain. And the Master Show they're gonna have it next year. So I'm hoping they have that show in California, and also that show, the Triple O Dynasty, and also they have the Masters back, and maybe we have more shows. So, folks, we're not gonna hold her too long because she's eating.
My
So,
chicken. I apologize.
yeah, there's no real apologies because I know food is your fuel.
Timing.
You need it. So we're not gonna hold her too long because I know she wants to sit down and eat and just gobble, enjoy her food. And we do appreciate the time she has taken to be with us and talk with us. And this is what I'm gonna ask you. What would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding as a whole?
I think I'm at the point in my age too. I want a legacy, and really want to be a role model. I think that's why I do volunteer work too. I want to show women muscle is beautiful. We can do it no matter what our age is, no matter where we're at, no matter what class we are. And a class, I mean, I told you I grew up poor, so that type of class. I want to let the promoters know that it's viable and we can be beautiful. It's not that we're just freaky. So I think I want that. I want to be part of. When you see I do most of my routines. I'm not traditional. You'll see if you saw my routine, I am, I do a lot of country music. I do a lot of fast music. I don't do slow. So I wanted to, I'm hoping that I can bring a different viewpoint on bodybuilding and what it could be. And maybe if we make it fun, um, maybe we will have more women, you know?
Yeah. Well, one thing I think that's truthfully, I think one thing is your competitors, you deserve a little more. Like also as a pro, it should be more, with that long ago, we had a bunch of deaths. You should be more benefits. Like, okay, now I'm a pro, I'm paying for this card. I should have benefits. Like, okay, if I get sick, if I get hurt, have this and that. Little things, like, especially in any sport.
Yeah.
I got my friend Keith, he used to play football in the NFL. He did it for several years. He still gets a pension. I think you're paying
Yeah.
for that card every year. You should get like a little stipend or something that helps you out, along the way. It takes a little edge off the cost of being a competitor, but it's just maybe just me being optimist, but
there's so many women that don't compete after they get their pro cards. There's a lot. They'll get the pro cards and then that's it. They're done. And I don't know if it is because, again, there's like the bigger girls and that's it. And they're terrified that a Hella will show up and they'll like crush their soul. But maybe, getting like, I want to be politically correct, but I've heard nothing like about how to proceed at the next step. It's different. It's really different than the NPC. And I did it for so long that like I just found out I have to have a different type of suit for preliminaries than I do for the evening show. Well, I didn't know. So now I have to go buy a different suit, but I had to I had to go out to the promoters and say, can somebody tell, like, it'd be really nice to get a welcome packet. Say, welcome to the IFBB. Here's some things you might need to know. That would be awesome. So yeah, so you're right. Like just even little things like that would be just phenomenal. To acknowledge us, congratulations, you did it. I mean, I had my pro card put in a shadow box with my suit, so I did that. But something would be really, really nice, even to have like they were selling the rings, the NPC rings. I tried buying one. I couldn't even get that to go through. Like anything, just to not just give you a piece of paper and then leave the stage, like somehow welcome you into the group. Now you're part of the pro league. Here's what we're going to do next.
Yeah, and it don't have to be like for certain levels, if you can say that, but still just things that help you out. It helps.
Yeah.
We got to hear from a man. Money J says this. Melanie Horton's amazing. Yes, she is. We're still in contact with her. I would love to meet her someday. Maybe if I get a chance to do a show, but I gotta get some work done on my car. I hate that car. It's my car, but I hate it. But and I would like this. Sponsorship could help. And I know that you guys out there who are fans of these ladies, if you reach out to them with genuine interest, and don't be that weird guy say, hey, Renee, yeah, I saw your last show, you get me a little funny feeling. So if I do something for you, no, come on, guys, don't do that. Say, Miss Covell, I have a plan. And I think you're a very smart, intelligent woman. I would like to sponsor you. So if you're interested in it, we'll set things up for you, make sure we take care of anything you need. And you could be a representative of our product. So if you're interested, let us know. We have the paperwork, and all we want to see you is succeed and represent our company. So will you interested in that plan, Mr. Renee?
I think that's actually awesome, and that would probably get me to do more on social media too, right? Because look for fans. I don't ask for people to follow me, and I do need to do more of that. And that not just for me, but for the IFBB women's division, bodybuilding division. I do.
Well, we need more women who step up and get opportunities to recognize this division, all the divisions. It's tough being both a man and woman in this sport, but it's a lot tougher as a woman because you're changing the aspects of what people consider feminine. Like I said, you have one thing what makes more women feminine than anything is having kids. You have 7 kids. If that's not a woman, then what that is. I know there's a lot of topics talking about this and that, but you have to be passionate about this sport.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get up in the morning and train, have to eat on a diet. If you don't love the sport, like I said, just focus on other stuff. I know I've seen some ladies, one lady I follow, she got a pro card. She said because the judge was telling her to switch divisions, she said, nah, I'm not gonna be a pro. Okay, you did all that work, all of that. Now you're gonna say, All right, I can understand, but I know some ladies say, "Hey, I'm not competing, but I'm still paying for my pro card because that pro card says I'm certified." I'm like, it's like being bonded and licensed, like a plumber or electrician. You can be you can train people. Like I know some people who train people in NPC or NPC competitors, but that IFB Pro gives you that stamp of approval. But here we got a comment here from a man. Art says, have you considered doing your own podcast in regards in women's bodybuilding? So you ever think about jumping on? Because you say you're not too much on social media. You got a teenager; they can help you out with that.
Yeah, I probably should be doing these type of things. If not for if I think of doing it for somebody else and not for me, I do it. I feel selfish a lot. So I fight with that little demon in my head. I try to give and do, because I just feel from where I came from to where I am now, I want to give, and I give a lot. I do donate. So a lot of times I give more than I probably should. But if I in my mind, if I think about doing it for other people, I might do that.
Well, like I said, you're a great lady. You're very special. It's great talking with you and getting your thoughts. I mean, people like that. So again, guys, if you're interested in sponsoring Renee, sponsorship does help. If you in her area, you see her, if she's getting gas, pay for her gas. If she's getting coffee, little things like that can help them along the way. If you were someone who owned, like you said, grocery store, and Renee's coming through, she's buying up stock. Says, hey, Renee, you got an account. We'll just take care of everything and give you a discount. Those little things help out. Yeah, it does. And this is from my man. Money he says, Renee, what are you eating?
I got 4 ounces of chicken, 3 ounces of rice, 2 cups of asparagus, and 1 ounce of avocado.
It sounds pretty good. I might just figure myself some broccoli and chicken or something later. Also, she say, this is my man Michael Boy says, you retired or still in the iron game? No, Renee is just turned pro last year. Michael, she's gonna be competing this year. She says she has 3 shows. She's gonna do Chicago, Tampa, and the World Championship Masters. That should be a show that should be Olympic qualification. I don't know.
That would be great.
Yeah, because I know you got the age differences, but you can do like this, like in a like an amateur show. Whoever, because sometimes someone would do 2 classes, but if you have enough ladies left over out of each class win, compete for overall for Olympia qualification.
My 16, I can take you with me, George, but my 16-year-old just texted me that her softball practice is over.
All right, well, we're gonna let you go, and okay. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Yeah,
love you guys for watching. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But folks, if you want to follow Renee, her social media stuff is in the description. Check her out, support her.
Love you.
Yeah, and give her best of luck of her. Say, hey, tell you, I hope she does good. Maybe we see her in the future in the IFBB.
I hope so too. And once I finish Chicago, George, I'll reach out to you. Maybe we can interview there.
All right. This is from man Arda Mosley says, see you later, Renee. And thank you, Renee. And thank you for your time. Good best of luck to you. And hope
God bless everybody. So long.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So, all right, bye. Yeah, this is Mail Away George Page. We appreciate the lovely Miss Renee Covell coming through. Hope her best of luck, and we hope we can see her in the future again. Thank you, Renee. And also thank y'all for coming through. My man Michael Boyce, Buddy J, Raheem, also not Raheem. I mean, all the female muscle, KL the Wanderer, Chad. Chad, you both supposed to be at work, brother. All you came through, watch, comment, follow, subscribe. Like I say, follow Renee on social media. If you're someone out there interested in maybe sponsoring her, get in contact with her. Have a real serious and committed plan. Also, as I said, I left the her link to her syrup company in the comment section. So if you're interested in maybe checking her out, maybe buying some products that help her and her family make some money, share it with other people too. So anyway, I can thank Renee again. I appreciate her time. Wish her best of luck. This is from a man. Michael says, just got on, didn't know you were so well. I was. And also, this is from says, we're on. Yeah. So you're a little late now, but you can watch it later, Mike. You watch it and miss something. So I appreciate your time. Thank y'all folks for coming through. There she goes. She can't take the phone off. But I wish you best of luck. Have a good day, Renee. And thank you for coming through. This is Mail Away George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Have a good evening and a good night and good rest of your day.